Homesteading is a part of the American legend. It's in our national DNA. Roughing it is no longer necessary for most, honestly, but it just has a certain allure for lots of city dwellers. The word homesteading comes from the Homestead Act of 1862, which passed to spur Western migration. It granted 160 acres of public land to anyone who paid the filing fee, agreed to work the land for 5 years, and to improve it. By the way, much of the acreage was taken from Native American tribes. Some 270 million acres were distributed under the act, and the final claim was made in 1988 for some land in Alaska. Most homesteaders were primarily concerned with just producing enough food to survive. Life was hard. There were prairie winds, fires, swarms of grasshoppers, droughts, and many lived for a while in sod houses. Versions of homesteading have developed throughout the years, mainly during times of uncertainty or distrust of authority, or both, according to experts. You have the Great Depression, the Vietnam War, the years before Y2K, and the Great Recession. All examples. In other words, it's not just about food anymore. It's about a feeling. The entire history of America is that in times of political and economic insecurity, people revert to a very visceral sense that taking control of their food and of their homes is where security lies. That's according to Toni Smith. She's a modern homesteader and an English professor at Vancouver Island University. A significant homesteading movement came about in the 1970s. Many Americans, mostly young adults, left cities and suburbia. They went to rural areas. They were driven by environmental and social concerns and the general anti-establishment tenor of the time. There were some notable differences from the first big movement. The land wasn't free, number one, and the goal wasn't survival. It was self-sufficiency. Many tried to make ends meet by selling produce and handmade goods. It was a lifestyle for the back-to-landers, as they were called. Some succeeded, some didn't. What's very, very old is now new again.
The squash plants are just doing amazing.
Homesteading is hot as politics roil and automation lurks. The dynamics are different from the 1970s and profoundly different from the 19th century version.
Good morning, modern steaders.
There are tutorials on farm life online and popular blogs. You have the Elliott Homestead, which has 100,000 monthly readers.
You have not lived until you've had fresh cream from a dairy cow.
Shay Elliott is one of a network of bloggers promoting self-reliance, traditional skills, subsistence farming. And to put a further digital twist on this simple life, Elliott's a really big deal on Instagram and YouTube. For those who want a taste of homesteading, there are even short-term rentals through companies like Airbnb these days. We should point out the sod houses are mostly a thing of the past. Besides, they didn't even have Wi-Fi.